Whether you're a weekend warrior or somebody looking to start their own detailing business, this video is for you. Hey guys, my name is Charles with Detail Lab, and in today's video, I'm going to go over some of the basic equipment and chemicals needed to get a professional quality exterior detail, whether you're looking just to take care of your own vehicle or transition into building a detailing business. All right, to start this video off, let's talk about pressure washers and snub nose guns. So, I've been using the Craftsman 1800 PSI pressure washer for the last 8 months or so, and it has worked flawlessly for me. I know a lot of people like the Ryobi 1800 PSI pressure washer as well, and also the Active 2.0. Those are fantastic starter pressure washers. They come with everything you need. I highly recommend upgrading the hoses to at least 40-foot hoses. And also, depending on which one you get, you will also need a M22 to 3/8 quick disconnect adapter to go onto the pressure washer itself. So that way your quick connect hose can connect to the pressure washer and to your snub nose gun. And speaking of snub nose guns, I personally use the MTM snub nose gun. It's going to have a swivel on it, so that way whenever your hose is connected, you can twist the gun and it's not going to bind up the hose. And also it's going to have your quick connect on it for your foam cannons, right? So you can get cheaper ones, but I found that spending the little extra money on a quality snub nose is worth it starting out. Your kit is also going to include several different tips to go into your snub nose or your wand. It is going to come with at least a 40-degree white tip, a 25-degree green tip, and most of the kits come with a turbo nozzle. I personally use the green tip the most, and you will use the turbo nozzle essentially only for wheel wells, especially the carpeted wheel wells. They can be a pain in the butt to clean, but the turbo nozzle does help a lot in the wheel wells. This is not for the paint though. Do not use the turbo nozzle on the paint, only the white and green tips for paint. And common sense warning, don't get too close to the paint. All right, next up we have foam cannons. There are a ton of different foam cannons out in the market. I personally have a Adams premium foam cannon, a Torque foam cannon, and a cheap $20 foam cannon off Amazon. And honestly, the cheap $20 foam cannon off Amazon has worked really, really good. I bought it to test out for y'all. To give y'all a cheaper option on foam cannons, and it has worked flawlessly since I got it. You don't have to spend the $80 to $100 on a premium foam cannon if you're starting out. I would actually advise you to buy at least 3 of the cheaper ones. That way you don't have to pour out your chemicals if you want to swap. So you can have one for your wheels and tires, one for your pre-rinse, and then one for your car shampoo. It just makes life a lot easier just having a dedicated foam cannon for each one. But obviously you can start off just using one foam cannon for everything. That is fine. But if you have the extra money, go ahead and get you some of the cheaper Amazon ones. That way you can have multiple ones and you have a backup in case one fails. You're also going to want to get at least 2 buckets. So whether or not you use the 2-bucket wash method, which includes having a 3rd bucket for your rinse bucket. So in the 2-bucket wash method, you will have 1 bucket filled up with just water, and the other bucket filled up with soapy water. You will use a wash mitt or wash pad, dunk your mitt in that soapy water, clean a panel, flip the mitt, clean another panel, and then come back to your rinse bucket with a grit guard in the bottom. Put your mitt in the bucket, scrape it against that grit guard, pull it out, you will wring it out, and then dunk it back in your soapy water and continue. Now, you can use the one bucket method with multiple wash mediums. So you will have 3 to 4 microfiber towels. You will have your soapy water, and your towels will be in the soapy water. You will pull a towel out, fold it in half again, and you will use one clean panel of your towel per panel of the vehicle. So you'll wash the hood with one side, flip it, do a fender, flip it, do a door, so on and so forth. And when you've used all of the clean sides, you will put that towel in your bucket caddy and pick up a new towel. Now, I really like having these bucket caddies. It holds my dirty towels that I can't use anymore, holds my boar hair brush that I use for tight spaces and emblems and grills, and it also holds my clay mitt or my clay towel depending on what I'm using that day. And also it can hold your pressure washer tips when they're not in use. Moving on to my wheel bucket, I have a dedicated dirty bucket that's just for wheels. You're going to want to get an assortment of barrel brushes. These are the angled barrel brushes from Adams Polishes. This is just a stiff nylon barrel brush that I use on really dirty wheels. A long handled brush to get inside of the wheel wells. A stiff bristle plastic brush to use on tires. And a boar's hair brush to get in those lug nuts, and also valve stems, and some wheels have intricate tight areas that you cannot get with a mitt. And finally, a little half mitt, I call them. They're just a small mitt that your hand fits into, and I find these are a lot easier to get in those areas than a full mitt. So I bought several of these and I just rotate them out as they get dirty. You're going to want to get yourself 2 different types of tire shine applicators. I use a soft bristle brush for my more aggressive sidewalls, and I use a foam block for my thin sidewall or more smooth sidewall tires. All right, last but not least, we'll talk about a few different types of towels. So if you're using the one bucket multiple wash media method, you're going to want to get yourself, I would say, at least 20 or so plush microfiber towels. I believe mine are 320 GSM towels that I use for my multiple wash media method. If you're using mitts, go ahead and get yourself, I would say, at least 5 to 7 wash mitts, so that way you don't have to wash your mitt every single night. You can go multiple vehicles and without needing to wash your mitts. For glass, I like to use a waffle weave towel. This seems to be the best towel I've used to make sure you get a streak-free finish on your glass. Next up, you have a 500 GSM towel. This is going to be used for final touch-ups. Maybe you had some water run down from behind the mirror and dried a nice little streak down the door of the vehicle. That's what I use this towel for, to do any touch-ups before the customer receives their vehicle back. You're also going to want to get yourself multiple drying towels of different sizes. I personally use the twisted loop towels more than just the microfiber towels. They hold water a lot better and don't streak as much. But you're going to want to get yourself at least, I would say, 5 or so drying towels for the paint. And I personally use dedicated drying towels for the wheels. So if you know me, all of my towels are color coded. So my green towels, my green drying and microfiber towels are for wheels only. So that way you don't dry your wheels and use that same drying towel on the paint maybe the next day. And that's gonna do it for the equipment. Let's move on to the chemicals. All right guys, if you found any type of value in this video, please hit that like button. It helps me out tremendously and it lets me know I'm doing something right. But moving forward, let's talk about some basic chemicals that you need for the exterior of your vehicle. And first off, we're gonna talk about a pre-wash or a pre-soak. There are multiple different types of chemicals for this application, and that goes for all the chemicals. I've personally experimented with several different types, and I always go back to the Purple Power Vehicle and Boat Cleaner. It's cheap. It's like $8 for a gallon and it's dilutable. I personally used it anywhere between 4 and 6 to 1. And it has a high enough pH that it's gonna start breaking down that road grime and dirt. This is a product that you're not gonna use on every single wash, especially if it's a maintenance wash, you don't need to use it. But if it's maybe your first time detailing this particular vehicle, I always start with that. That way I can try to get as close to a clean slate as possible. The more grime and dirt and filth you can get off the paint before your contact wash, the less of a chance you have of scratching that paint during your contact wash. And for anything I've talked about in this video, I'm going to link in the description box below. So don't worry, all the links will be down there. Next, you're going to want to get yourself a good quality wheel and tire cleaner combo. I highly suggest this over getting a dedicated wheel cleaner and then a dedicated tire cleaner. More cost effective, especially if you're trying to start a business. My favorite wheel and tire cleaner has to be the Adams wheel and tire cleaner. I'm out of it, I don't have a bottle. The P&S Brake Buster is really good. It's also dilutable. The Suds Lab non-acid wheel and tire cleaner is really good. It's also dilutable. The Adams wheel and tire cleaner is dilutable. So you may just have to play around and find one that you like the most. Next up, we have car soaps. There's two different categories of car soaps when it comes to after the pre-wash. You have just your basic car shampoo, like Adams car shampoo, Adams Mega Foam, Ultra Foam. There's a ton of them out there. Meguiar's Gold Class, and that's gonna have no protection added in the soap. So it's just pure car shampoo for lubricity while you're doing your contact wash. This is gonna be a soap that you use when you know you're adding protection later, like a sealant or a ceramic coating if you're into ceramic coatings, but it's gonna have no protection added. Then you have soaps like this Meguiar's ceramic washing wax that have a little bit of protection added. And then this is gonna be a soap more so if you're doing a maintenance wash on your vehicle, maybe like your weekly wash. Add a little bit of protection and a little bit of hydrophobics to it. Then next up, we have our iron remover. So this is gonna be a product that gets rid of the embedded iron particles in your paint, like brake dust and industrial fallout. Also a chemical that's probably the most expensive per ounce to use. So this is something that you're not gonna use on every single detail. This is gonna be what you use on what I call my reset detail. And that's my initial detail when I try to get the vehicle as good as I can without polishing or paint correcting. So I will do a full decon wash with iron remover and also my clay mitt. And you will also use iron remover if you're doing any type of ceramic coating service as well. The big thing with iron remover and every other chemical is don't let it dry on the paint. Once you apply it, and if it's outside in the sun, I always take my pressure washer and mist down the paint maybe once a minute or so until I spray it off. And with the iron remover, it does come in like 16-ounce bottles with the trigger sprayer. Save yourself some carpal tunnel unless you just want big old Popeye forearms, and get yourself a pump sprayer. This one is from Home Depot. It works fantastic. Pump it up, and all you gotta do is just squeeze down the trigger and go to town. Next up, we have some type of quick detail spray that is used as a drying aid. So once you rinse the vehicle off and you're about to dry, you will spray this quick detailer spray on the paint, take your drying towel and dry the vehicle. This acts as a lubricant for your drying towel so it does not scratch or mar the paint. All right, next up we have our paint sealants. I personally use the Suds Lab Ceramic Hydro Coat and the Gyeon Wet Coat are my two personal favorite sealants. They are a spray on, rinse off type product. So you will spray the product on a wet panel before you dry the vehicle and then spray it off with your pressure washer. The Suds Labs is a great product for somebody who is looking to start a detailing business. I think it's about $15 for 32 ounces, so it's very cost effective. It does not work as good as the Gyeon Wet Coat, but Gyeon Wet Coat is about double the price for half the product. So if you're a weekend warrior or somebody who washes their own vehicle, the Gyeon is a better option because you're not going to be using that much of it. But if you're a business owner or looking to start a business, look into the Suds Lab. There's also Turtle Wax Minute Wax that people get really good results. I personally have not used this yet. I bought this to do a video, and so I will give this a try. But it's the same type. You can spray on, rinse off. You can spray on and then dry the vehicle with a drying towel without rinsing. You can also dry the vehicle and then apply with a microfiber towel afterward. But the spray on, rinse off is obviously the faster, easier method. And then last but not least is some type of tire dressing or tire shine. Now currently I've been using a silicone-free tire dressing and it has been working okay. I suggest trying out multiple tire dressings to find which one you like the most. Currently my favorite one is the Adams Graphene Tire Dressing and CarPro Dark Side. Those two tire dressings seem to be the best tire dressings for the money that don't sling and look fantastic, a nice satin matte finish. I personally do not like the super glossy finishes, but if that's what you like, then you can get a super glossy tire dressing. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe so that way you stay up to date on any future video releases. I will have a video coming out on interior products and equipment needed for beginners and weekend warriors, so stay tuned for that. Also, let me know in the comments below if you've used any of these products and how you like them. Also, let me know if you use a product that I did not talk about today, and I will love to check that product out. I'm always looking to add more products into my stable, so be sure to leave a comment down below, like the video, and thanks guys.